We're gonna look at a hive that Tell's gonna build, and I figured it'd be a good chance to do some more documenting, and we're gonna talk about bees. I think we're gonna talk about bees, and I just don't want to get stung or shocked. What are they doing?
I don't know what they're doing, but they're all coming out. So sometimes like on the nice sunny days, the drones will all come out at the same time to go find some queens to bang. But I don't think that's what's going on. I think these could be new foragers. Like they've done their job in the hive, and now it's time to go find nectar and pollen until they die. But I don't know. Maybe they're just out to enjoy the nice weather. We should look at them. There's a bunch.
How angry are they gonna get when I get closer?
I don't know, they're fine. Just don't, don't stand right in front of the entrance. They won't like that.
Don't stand right in front of the entrance. Tip number one, don't stand right in front of the entrance where I'm standing.
No, I mean like directly in front of it. You're fine there.
Okay, we got...
Alright, so yeah, these are some drones. You can see some drones. Let's see if I can catch one.
No, I don't.
This guy here, they can't sting you. That one. See him? He's bigger.
Well, it's hard to see him on camera, but yeah, you go ahead and you catch him.
Ah! He's too fast. There are a bunch of them now.
So which are the ones that can sting you?
Oh, the smaller ones. Alright, come here. Come here, I'll point out a drone. Let's see.
Is this the entrance we shouldn't be in front of?
One of them.
Whoa, what's this orange stuff that's just got on my shirt?
That's bee.
No way.
Yep. We just got on. Well, now the drones aren't showing up. Let's go over to this other entrance. There's one. There he is. There he is. Right there. There's a drone. See, he's got bigger eyes. Well, he's just bigger, and then he's got those two big. Oh,
you just dropped him.
Well, he fell. I didn't.
Can't they fly? Can bees not fly?
This one can fly. He can fly. He's just they're kind of. He's on me too. That's what bee looks like. But can you see his bigger eye? Can't compare him to another one, but.
Grab one of the ones that can sting him. Put him right
no, because they'll probably sting me. But anyway, so they come out and they go find a spot. They go find all the drones in the area go hang out in the same spot. It's like 600 feet up in the air, and they wait there for a queen to come out, and then she flies up through them real fast, like as fast as she can, and the fastest drones catch her, and they get to bang her, but then they die, and then they fall down. They look around. They might keep the brood warm too. Kind of hard to tell what they do. I'm sure they do something important. But you can see a bunch of them flying around right now. So most conventional beekeepers go inside the hive and find all the brood, or the drone brood, and they kill them, because most conventional beekeepers are basically. So it was brought to my attention that in Bryce's previous video featuring me, I was dull and unexcited, but I'm excited about this.
Good.
This is most of a.
What is this? Just saying. What's this? What are these bees doing?
They
appear dead.
That one got caught by a spider web. This one just landed here and got cold.
Warm it up.
But I think she probably got too cold overnight last night.
She died.
And died.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, back to the hive. I just got rid of that junk there. Okay.
Alright, so this is a most of a Oscar Perone automatic hive. This is the kind of the brood chamber of it. And as you can see, it's a lot bigger than these other hives, which are Varroa hives. And it has this tiny little entrance here. These are about 2 feet square and 2 feet tall. And then on top, instead of doing the separate top bars like the Varroas have, this has like a grid. And I've just got a frame from a Langstroth hive hanging on there. just so it kind of smells like bees. See if I can convince anybody to move in. And then inside, because it's such a big space, I put a stick in there so that the comb doesn't collapse, because that's a big, there are gonna be huge combs in there, and if they don't have any support, then when it warms up, they might fall apart. But on top of these go some, a couple of honey supers, which are a lot smaller. They're 10 centimeters tall, and then another one of these comb guides, and then another 10 centimeters, another one of these, another 10 centimeters, and then the lid. So it ends up being pretty big. And I built this last year, kind of late in the swarm season, and didn't get any bees in it last year, which was sad because I want to see how it works. This is the first one that I've used. So the first swarm we get this year is going in here, and they are alleged to help the bees make an awful lot of honey.
How much honey?
How much honey?
Average year.
I've heard that, so when it's, if the 3 honey supers are full, so you never touch this part, you just leave it alone forever. If the 3 honey supers are full, that ends up being a little over 200 pounds of honey, so like 225 pounds. And those can fill up every year. Typically it takes a couple years for them to fill it up the first time, 2 or 3 years, but then after that, should be able to harvest every year if the nectar flow is decent.
Sweet. Okay. So what are these ones? So how are these different?
Different from this one?
Yeah, the other hives, the smaller ones.
Smaller hives.
Just smaller, or are they different design?
Yeah, they're different designs. So those are Emile Ware's People's Hive, and I'll grab one of those. So I'm not going to take those apart because they got bees in them. But this is what each of those boxes looks like. So it's got, these are individual bars that come loose. And they're managed a lot different. This one, this is the brood chamber here, and then you take honey off the top. These, the brood chamber kind of keeps moving down, and as the bees keep building down, lift it up, put new boxes underneath, harvest honey from the top. So it's kind of an escalator scenario. Whereas that one, just take honey supers, which is a little more like a conventional Langstroth hive. These are nice. I think the bees really like them. They're, the fellow who designed them to be really easy to build so that anybody could keep bees, and also design them kind of to sort of simulate the inside of a tree, which is where bees that aren't living in man-made beehives generally are. So they're square, which isn't perfectly like the inside of a tree, but that was shooting for the balance between being like a tree and being easy to build. Yeah. So you could build one of these round, but it would be a lot more work. And I've got a little window here. They haven't built down that far yet, but you can see inside. You can see the earwigs. Yeah, that's plexiglass. Plexiglass has always worked fine for me. There's a gal I sold a hive to in Portland. So that's just a worker. That's smaller than the drone. But there's a guy I sold some to in Portland, and she put her hives right in the sun, and the plexiglass expanded too much and warped and popped out. So not using plexiglass anymore. I think it's because the drones were either like leaving for the day or all coming back or something.
Oh, we caught a rare event?
No, it happens every day, every sunny day.
Oh yeah, look. Those look a lot better. So how often are there new drones that leave and never come back?
Well, most of them don't actually mate. Most of them just go up there and hang out for a little while and then come home frustrated, but alive. So most of them leave and come back. They also, it turns out, drones can go into, they're welcome in any hive, whereas workers are only really welcome in their own home hive. Drones can go wherever they want.
So even amongst these two hives, they can't go back and forth.
Workers can't. Well, there's some drift. There's a little bit of drift to where they just kind of, especially if they're this close, workers just kind of come back to the wrong one sometimes. So if they're out front doing that, they're sending some kind of signal.
Like keep the camera away?
No, just like some kind of pheromone thing. So maybe it's hard to tell what it is. I mean, there are some pheromones that you can smell, that we can smell really easily, but not all of them.
No, this other hive isn't doing anything.
Well, they've got a couple. So when I cut up the wood, I buy cheap wood, so there's always some with knot holes, and I build the hives for myself with the knot holes. So they've got an entrance on the other side with a hole in it, in the top box. So they're coming and going out the top.
Getting that great audio. What happened? Don't scare me. Don't scare me. Okay. And you want to explain the one up in the tree? Let's go look at the one in the tree.
All right, yeah, we can look at that.
Here, you go first.
So, last year, several of these swarmed, and I got them. I got the swarm. It was great. But
there's more bees here. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I got bees in it. I'm gonna stand over here. It's okay.
You know, you gotta get some of that fancy French clay that sucks the venom out. So, last year, several swarms landed in that tree, and I tried to climb up there and get them down, but I normally collect swarms in a bucket, and I went up there with a bucket, and I just couldn't get up there close enough without feeling like I was gonna fall out and break my neck. So instead of having to climb up there with a bucket to catch them, because several swarms went to that tree, I assume they like it for some reason. So I put a hive up there, hoping that they'll go into that instead of just landing on a branch. So if they just move right into that hive, I can bring the hive down and either leave them in that hive, set them up somewhere else, or put them in another hive. That's the plan anyway. So that's, you can call that a bait hive, and it's just a nice easy way to get swarms. It doesn't always work, but when it does, it's very easy. You know, just like any other critter, you can overdo it. You can have too many in one spot, because you know they only want to go so far for flowers. So if the population's too high, then they're going to be competing with each other, and then they're also, you know, there are all the other native pollinators and things that are going after that same food. So, but sometimes you'll see them.
Here, say it again.
Pollen baskets.
Okay. Tell me what they're called. Tell me what they do.
They hold pollen. I don't think they're actually baskets. I think it's just they're kind of hairy. Their legs have like little hairs that hold them. They stick the pollen on. They might actually be baskets. I don't know. I think, but
they make their own baskets and then they stick pollen in them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Out of wicker. You can see them fanning in here.
What are they fanning for?
I'm not entirely sure. So they fan to spread pheromones, which is kind of how they communicate, but they also fan to just increase air circulation in there to evaporate the nectar and the honey. Oh, so those, when they have their ass up in the air, that usually means they're spreading pheromones.
Focus. How close can I get?
They're fine.
Yeah, right.
Seriously, unless you get like right in there quite fast. Really...
Oh, that was dragging out a dead bee.
Yep, that's an undertaker.
Say that again? Who was that? That was the undertaker?
That was the bee undertaker.
Well, okay, now they're getting in my face.
So bees die, you know, and then it's some bee's job to take the dead bees out.
I mean, look at the concrete.
Yeah, that was a little ambitious. I built this thinking that maybe I would have like 16 hives in here, and 16 hives full of honey would, you know, that'd probably weigh like 1.5 tons. 16 of these hives. So I started out building it pretty stout, and then I thought about that's probably too many hives, so it was a bit of overkill. But The shed is to keep the rain off, which helps them out a lot. They don't mind being cold, but they don't like being wet. And if the wood of the hive itself isn't getting wet from outside, it can kind of respirate. You know, the moisture from the inside can get out. And it also keeps the sun off in the middle of the day in the summer, so they don't get too hot. But it lets the sun in all winter and in the morning and afternoon in the summer, which they like. So it helps them out. And then they're up off the ground to keep them away from ground level moisture, and then some predators like mice and raccoons and skunks and things will get them if they're right on the ground.
So when are you gonna harvest the honey?
Probably, I might take some in May.
So we'll do a video in May.
Yeah, we can do a video in May. That's
follow-up video.
Yeah.
Honey harvest. Yeah,
so it's kind of, some folks harvest in the fall, some folks harvest in the spring, some folks harvest in the summer. It's kind of, if you harvest in the fall, you kind of got to guess how much they're going to need to make it over the winter. So if you harvest in the spring, they've already made it through, and if you wait until there's the good nectar flow going, they don't have to worry about them starving. So you can take what they've already stored, and they'll have the whole rest of the season to store stuff for next year. The downside to that is if you leave all that honey on over the winter, they have to keep it warm, because it'll be high in the hive. So they're using a little bit more energy to actually consuming a little bit more honey that way. But it's kind of nice to know they're not going to starve too.
You'd be out here with molasses or something trying to force feed them.
Right, which is, that's what a lot of beekeepers do, is they end up, they take all the honey, don't leave them anything to make over the winter, and then feed them sugar syrup.
Cool.
Or corn syrup. Yeah, which, and then you end up, you don't get honey, you get whatever bees make out of sugar.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and that's...
Feed them Sprite.
Right, exactly. And it's pretty common. That seems kind of stupid to me. I started keeping bees because they're cool and because I didn't want to have to buy any more sugar. So to buy sugar to feed the bees, for the bees to make honey, it just seems kind of stupid. And it's really not good for them either. Oh, there's a drone. Having trouble.
Uh-oh. Drone down.
Sometimes you can see it. So I'm encouraged I don't see any mites on this guy. So drones kind of get the mites first. And they end up, hang on kind of there. I don't know what that part's called, but kind of between the wings there. That little brown spot. That's where you see them. And we had the first couple years I noticed a lot of Varroa Mites. Varroa destructor. And it seemed like the hives were kind of having trouble with them. Population really wasn't getting up at all, and there were a lot of dead bees, and then a lot of them that couldn't fly. But it seems like they really kind of worked it out and made a recovery. So this year they're doing pretty well. This guy's not looking great. He's got see how those two wings are kind of separated?
Yeah.
That's called K-wing, and that is actually a sign of, not always, but is a sign of a virus that Varroa brings to the hive. But he could have just had a tough day too. This is a used box. It already kind of smells like bees, so that can be enough. I'll also probably put a little tiny bit of lemongrass oil in there because it smells like one of the queen pheromones, so that can kind of tempt them in there. Lemon balm kind of smells like that too. Old brood comb. I've got a piece of old brood comb in the freezer that I usually will kind of rub around the inside to make it smell. Brood is really attractive to bees. They like about the size of two of these boxes, and 5 meters or more off the ground is best, and with the entrance facing south, and with a lot of contrast between the entrance and the material. So So see, like, that's kind of bright wood, and then the entrance is dark. That's good, so it makes it visible.
Cool.
And they definitely strongly prefer cavities that have had bees in them before too. So that's why I use boxes. Swarm season starts kind of end of April. May is when there are a lot of swarms, and that's kind of prime season. June, early in June is pretty good. The end of June, if you get a swarm in the end of June, it might not have enough time to really get going. They will typically keep swarming as long as like August and September. But if you get a swarm then they're gonna have a hard time getting enough going before winter. So this year there have been a couple swarms around here already, just in the last couple weeks, which is really early. So if you get a swarm like that, that's good, because then they have all year to get going. Yeah, now's a good time to grab a hive, learn a little bit, get on a swarm list if you can. Sell all your investments and buy fruit trees. Now you're like,
So how long do you spend with your bees?
I don't know, I probably come more than I should. I come out here and just look at them probably 5 times a day.
You come out here and look at these bees 5 times a day.
Probably, yeah. I mean, not in the winter because they're not doing anything in the winter, but it's like every time I work in the barn, I walk back and I go get a drink of water, and then I hear them. You know, you walk by and you hear them, and I wonder what they're up to. So I come look.
They're giving that one mouth to mouth.
This one's up to dying is what he's up to. I like the drones. They seem so hapless.
What happens
because they're guys? I just like them. I like the ladies too, but there are a lot more of them. Sometimes if you do this, it works. Because they get cold and they can't fly unless they're like 60 degrees.
So, Shell's gonna fill us in on the happening with the bees today. 'Cause I don't know much about bees other than they sting me periodically.
It's good for you. Keep you from getting arthritis. Good for your joints.
Yeah.
It's a, what do you call it? A vasodilator. Gets you going.
Okay, give us step-by-step instructions on how to put the hive up there.
How to put alright, so first you need a hive.
Okay.
Then you need a step ladder. And then you lift it up and walk up the step ladder.
Man.
Oh no, see that's not good enough.
Why is honey so expensive then if it's so easy? You're gonna die.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, so
Okay.
it's about the right size.
Let me tone this thing down so you can see here.
It's up off the ground.
Yeah.
The entrance, which is here, is facing south. It smells kind of like bees. So now we just wait.
Like the Ronco rotisserie oven. Set it, forget it.
Set it, forget it.
Until there's bees.
Right. And I've tried it there before and it's never worked, but you know, maybe it will this time.
Cool.